and a phone. It's the same build running on both devices. So we have, but there are some great similarities and a couple of little differences that are appropriate for each device. The tablet, immediately you can see, is a multi-user device, which is great for running it at home with your family, or maybe having an enterprise device that people have to share. So each account is locked and encrypted. So here we go. I'm going to use the guest account for this demo. We also don't use any of the buttons, not hard buttons or not soft, or no soft buttons. So we use the edges. From the left edge, I bring in the launcher. The launcher shows me all the apps that I might like to use most often, or the ones that I like best. But we'll start by going to the home screen. The home screen is a useful place to see how nicely this interface scales across the two form factors. And it's like a summary of the things on the device that you might find interesting. Obviously, in the future, a user would be able to customize this to whatever they're interested in. But for the purposes of this demonstration, we've just chosen some frequent apps, some favorite people, and things like that. We also have an app screen, which shows you the frequently used apps, and when we've got running apps, it will also show the running ones. And a lovely video one. The video one lets you access the data that you already have, but even have a little look for maybe some movies that you might be interested in watching or renting. Thank you. So here we have The Hobbit, for example, which I can rent or buy from various suppliers. We have two different types of apps running on the device. HTML5 apps, which are brilliant for certain things, like Facebook and Twitter. But when you want to create a richer user experience, it's nicer to go native. One thing that is important to note on the platform is that we have HTML5 and native apps running as equal citizens in the interface. And so, but here we have a nice native app designed to show off your photos and make them look cool, even if you're not that good a photographer. One of the key things about our interface is that we like to keep it out of your way. This is your device showing your content, so you don't need to look at what clever designers we are and whether or not we can do nice buttons. So we like to keep everything out of the way until you're ready for it. So you can swipe in from the bottom and bring in the toolbar of the most frequently used things. If I swipe a little bit further, I can bring in what we call the HUD, and the HUD gives you access to a really rich set of tools without, you can see that I've already run this search on here, but it gives you access to more tools than might otherwise fit on such a small device, because you don't really want to clutter something like this. You see immediately, as soon as I launch this, I can actually do quite a lot on a device that's normally just used for consuming content. I'm not going to fiddle with that picture now because I quite like it just the way it is. From up here, I can swipe in my date and time settings, my battery, which we can see is getting a bit low now because it's been doing this all day, and I also have a nice messaging menu. The messaging menu is more than simply notifications, because it brings together all the contacts you've had from all the human beings in your life, and it doesn't really matter if they've come through Skype or Facebook or SMS, they're all brought into the same area. What's a little bit clever about this menu is that it lets you actually respond from here, from the menu, without having to go to Facebook. So if you're in the middle of something, you don't go and have to take yourself off to launch a different app. If I swipe from the left and go through the launcher, I can always come straight back into the app screen. Another nice difference between these two devices, or another thing that the tablet offers as extra, is that it's not just a multi-user device, it's also a multitasking device. So I can launch a couple of apps at least running in parallel. So here you'll see the Notepad app running on the phone, and exactly the same app running here in the sidebar on the tablet. When I've had enough, I can just pick it up and move it out of the way and bring it back when I want to. If I go back to that app screen, I can go and maybe get the calculator, for example, and I can switch between the two. So if I'm actually writing some notes and doing some sums, I can do that. Especially maybe if you're shopping online, that might be useful. And here on the phone, I can also use the right edge to swipe through the running apps. And there we go. Here I have that was a quick run through for Ubuntu running on both the phone and the tablet. Does anybody else have any questions?